Hello. My name is Dr. June Phelps. I'm a clinical psychologist at Avenues of Counseling and Mediation in Fair Lawn, Ohio. And I just wanted to share with you some tips today to help you sleep. This is segment 5 of a 6-segment series. And today we're going to talk a little bit about things you can do at night once you're in bed that can support sleep. Please feel free to look at some of the prior segments. They have some good information that can support you if during this stressful period, during this pandemic, you're having struggles with sleep. So check the other segments out, and then also hopefully this will be helpful for you as well. So what can you do during the night that really matters, that can really help support your sleep? In a previous segment, I talked to you a little bit about getting out of bed and doing something boring. If you're just lying in bed and you're just ruminating over problems that occurred during the day or future concerns you have, if you're just wide awake and you just can't fall asleep, the best suggestion I have for you, even though it's not a very popular one, is to get out of bed and to do something that you do not find stimulating, something that might lead you to start to feel a little bit groggy. Sometimes it's, if you're a student, reading a textbook that you find particularly boring, or maybe listening to an infomercial or something on radio that is just not stimulating, not news content, for example, but something that will, your mind will start to drift and you'll start to feel tired. And when you start to feel tired, get back into bed. If you are still lying in bed for another 20 to 30 minutes, I want you to get out of bed again and wait till you start to feel tired before coming back into bed. And as we mentioned in the last segment, one of the important reasons why we have you do this is because we want your bed just to be associated in your brain with being in a sleep state versus being in a highly alert state. Okay, so you're lying in bed during those 20 to 30 minutes, and what can you do to just help yourself kind of drift off to sleep? Your mind wants to really focus perhaps on some of the your concerns for the day, and I'll be talking about that in a minute. What can you do rather than just be ruminating? And so there are many resources on the internet, also on the Avenues website, on relaxation and meditation. And some of these exercises, which are pretty easy to learn, can help you during that period when you're just lying in bed, to do a progressive muscle relaxation exercise or to do a meditation or mindfulness exercise. One mindfulness exercise is just simply to count your breath, to just focus on your breath, and on the in-breath, say 1, on the out-breath, say 2. You can count your breaths all the way up to 10, and then do it again. And when your mind takes you someplace else, takes you to a thought that makes you anxious, to just acknowledge that thought, observe it, name it, and then just direct your attention back to your breath and continue to do this counting. Another exercise that that can help you is the old standby of counting sheep or counting whatever it might be. But if it's repetitive counting of something, so you imagine your mind like sheep jumping over a fence and you just count them, that also just kind of allows your mind to let go of some of the other things that it wants to focus on that are more anxiety producing, and creates a rhythm that allows your mind to drift into sleep. Another exercise that's really helpful is to, either before you go to sleep or while you're just lying in bed, to just identify 3 things from the day that you are grateful for. Search for something in the day, even though it might have been a really challenging and hard day, that helps you recognize the worth of your own life, and helps you realize that it wasn't so bad. It helps you see things in perspective. So a gratitude exercise when you're lying in bed is just a practice that can be really useful and help you to diffuse a little bit from some of your maybe anxious thoughts and to just relax your body a little bit. My third point is to try to let go of catastrophic thoughts you might have about not being able to sleep. A lot of times when people are, wide awake for hours while they're, at night, they become very, very concerned about their performance the following day. They're worried they're not going to be able to do their work as effectively. They're going to be, not be able to function. They're not going to be able to control their emotions, or their emotions are going to get the best of them. But really what research has suggested is yes, when we miss sleep, we tend to be a little bit more irritable, but we tend not to perform as poorly as we think we will. We tend to perform rather well, actually, at our work. And the effects of sleep are not as dramatic as we think, or lack of sleep are not as dramatic as we think they are. So when you're just lying in bed and you're saying to yourself, oh my gosh, things are going to be awful if I can't fall asleep, I've got to fall asleep. Remind yourself of the research that suggests, I'm probably overemphasizing how poorly I'm going to do the following day. I'm probably going to be able to function just fine. I might not feel so great, but it's not the catastrophe that it feels like at this moment. And there's a type of intervention also, it's paradoxical, in which you actually try to stay awake. So you're lying in bed and you're just telling yourself, you know what, I'm going to try to lean into staying awake. I'm going to try to stay awake. When you do that, what you're telling your brain is that staying awake is not the enemy, that it's okay if you're awake. If you're just kind of just lying down and you haven't fallen into a deep sleep. And when you tell your brain that, your brain stops being afraid of not falling asleep, and paradoxically allows you to relax a little bit and allows you perhaps to then drift more into a sleep state. So maybe you can try that. My last point is that try to keep your problem solving to a period during the day. Maybe you can identify a period during the day or early evening where you give yourself, a half hour to just identify the problems that you're facing right now and a single step you can take towards resolving those problems. And if you can't think of a step, that's okay as well. And maybe have a journal where you have 2 columns, one where you write the problem down, and then the next column, the next step you're going to take towards working on that problem. And if you can't think of a next step, just write down, I can't think of one right now. And just have it in that journal. And when you're lying in bed at night and your mind wants to go to that problem, you need to say to yourself, I worked on that problem during the day when my mind was sharper, and I'm going to come back to it the following day, where I identified what I want to do. And if I don't know what to do, well, I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to figure it out right now, because nighttime thinking is not as sharp as my thinking during the day. So I'm going to just let it go. I can come back to it tomorrow. And then just do your best to just release that problem, because you have addressed it as much as you can, and you will address it again. So these are some tips that you can do during, to help you sleep during the night. And I hope you find them helpful. Please feel free to contact us at Avenues of Counseling and Mediation. We are here for you during this really tricky time. We are providing teletherapy. Many insurance companies are waiving copays and coinsurance right now. So there's no barrier for you to come in and speak to us. Certainly if you're struggling with more serious mental health problems that have sleep disruptions associated with them, definitely reach out to us. Okay, so as you can see, we're going to have a segment 6. So please stay tuned for segment 6. All right, thank you so much and have a good day.